Okay, so I thought I'd make a quick video to explain what I thought about the feedback given to me during my media pitch for my film. I've posted a mind map explaining the feedback that I was given, but I couldn't really go into depth about what I thought about it all. So generally the feedback was very positive. I mean, there was a few people who said it's quite risky because it's such a controversial topic. However, it did start a bit of a debate between people, some saying that obviously we should legalise marijuana while others were saying we shouldn't, and that's the kind of reaction I was hoping to get because that's what I want to provoke during my short film. When I explained obviously that I will be showing the use of certain drugs such as cocaine, people did think it was might be overstepping the mark. However, many films do use this, and I will be using the same product that they use within films, and so hopefully it should look okay. Another main bit of feedback I received was that I needed to be more clear within my idea. I didn't have an actual route that I was going, just that I was going to have a character talking about the use of drugs and smoking and different addictions. However, many people within the audience suggested that I needed to come from an actual angle rather than just a general overview. And so many suggested that I could come from the point that either I'm blaming the government for enforcing certain rules and taking away choices such as we can use weed or heroin, but we can smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol, all of which can have detrimental effects, but also have some positives, I suppose, depending on who you ask. Or that I could come from the angle that it's the people who've selected which addictions are deemed right and are socially accepted, and those that are wrong. Obviously, things like weed in the past have been seen as really bad and shouldn't be used by a majority of the public, whereas now it's starting to become slightly more accepted. And so more and more places are starting to look at actually using it for medicinal uses and eventually possibly legalising it entirely, which I think is a really interesting debate in itself, and is causing different people to get into politics that perhaps wouldn't have usually, which I think is very interesting. And so this is the kind of thing that I hope to inspire through my short film, of trying to get different people involved in the discussion and just talking about different addictions and bringing that topic to light, which I think some people don't want to talk about in case their opinion's viewed as wrong by the rest of the people that are there around. I also explained to my audience that I came up with the idea initially when I heard some people on the bus having a discussion about various addictions, and one of them said, if we are all addicted to something, why are we the addicts? And I thought that was a very interesting line, and it just kind of stuck with me as an idea to potentially go on to create with a short film. And so obviously throughout my research I've decided that this was the idea that I wanted to stick with. And when I explained this to the audience that I was pitching my idea to, many of them thought it was a good idea and that I should have that as my final point in the film, to kind of sum it all up in some ways, which I suppose is a good idea in itself. Another big point that came up was that whether or not it would have background sound. I feel that if I want to go the route that makes it seem as realistic as possible, then ambient sound will play a huge part in that to make it feel very realistic and as more of a general discussion than just stating facts at the audience. Some people did suggest it might be an idea to add in a soundtrack just to give it a bit more life and emphasise certain points through the music. So I think when I go to create it, I will add in a soundtrack just to see whether or not I feel it fits, and if not, I can obviously take it out again and just leave it as the ambient sound. But no, overall I think that it was very well worth getting some audience feedback on that. Just doing an overall pitch, because it's obviously allowed me to see what the audience feel about it, what the age group I'm kind of aiming it at feels about it. It also helped me to show that the audience are going to be very split down the middle, so I need to be highly careful of how I write my script, careful not to alienate everybody, because if I say, oh yeah, let's let everybody do drugs, then half the audience is going to hate it, and then if I say, oh no, let's make everything illegal, then half the audience is going to hate that as well. So I will be very careful how I write my script, but I think overall the feedback was very helpful in giving me some more ideas and working out how I will refine my final pitch idea for my short film.